Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to be casing some cards today. But I also wanted to talk about celebration. Celebration started today, and with it, we have a whole bunch of new product releases. So if you haven't been over on the Stampin' Up website today, make sure you check out some things. We have a new January to April mini catalog. We have new online exclusives. We have a new scrapbooking lineup. And we have 3 new kits. So those are the ones that I could think of, that those are all new products. And today we also have the start of our starter kit special. And our starter kit special for January and February is it's $99 to join my team, to join Stampin' Up. And you can do so. You can be your very own best customer. You do not have to do what I do. You do not have to teach. You do not have to hold classes. But if you're a hobbyist and you want to get your supplies at a discount, now is a really good time to join because there are add-ons. So your $99 will stretch you a lot further. So option number 1 for the starter kit is you will get to choose $125 worth of product, which is our regular starter kit offering. You get to choose, for $99, you get to choose $125 worth of product. So you're getting $26 extra dollars. Plus, there is a $91 add-on that option 1 is. So you get to choose 2 Stampin' Write marker collections. They come in color families. So this one's the Brights, the Regals. We've got the Subtles. These are very nice light spring colors. And then we've got the Neutrals collection. So you can choose 2 of these 4 collections to add to your starter kit. And you will automatically get the Handmade Designs stamp set, which we'll be using today in your starter kit. So that's option number 1. Now, if that does not appeal to you, which it really should, because that's the one I would go for. It's like $91 extra in product. The other option is just a very simple one. Instead of getting $125 of product for free in your kit, you get $155, so $30 more than normal. But with option 1, you still get the $125 worth of product for $99, plus you get the $91 add-on. So if you don't already have those markers, I would definitely lean towards that. So these markers are wonderful. I have a friend who loves to do coloring, like in coloring books, and she loves these markers. Okay. And I'd love to have you join my team. So I have some team members on here this morning. I see Valerie, I see Marty, I see Ellie, and I see Mary here. Oh, and Marge too. So I have a few team members on here this morning. So absolutely, it's so worth joining. I'm sure they will tell you that it's great to get the discount. We do some fun things over on our team, and so it is definitely worth getting the starter kit. If you're already spending a lot on Stampin' Up products, why not get it at a discount, right? And then you're also tapped into all what Stampin' Up has to offer, the early pre-orders, all the information that gets sent through Stampin' Up. You can tap into all of that. So super good time to join. And I know some of you on here might already be a demonstrator with someone else. And so you already know what a good deal it is too. And then of course there's people that are customers and just and are happy being customers. But if you're kind of on the fence, send me an email if you want. We can have a conversation via email, via text, via phone. And I'll answer your questions. No obligations. My team will tell you I am low pressure. I don't like to pressure people. It's all what's best for you. and what makes you happy, because if you join just to make me happy, that's not what I want. I want you to be happy. So that will be my goal if I have a conversation with you. Oh, good morning. And we also have Frankie here this morning. Nice to see her too. She's in my second level. She's not direct to me, but she's under another one of my team members. All right, so let's talk about Casing Tuesday today. So today's card is, let's have a look. It's right here. Let me get my head back in the picture here. So this card was actually made using the Handmade Designs stamp set. And this is the option number 1 in the starter kit. You cannot purchase this. Unfortunately, it's only available as a in the starter kit, but I'm sure if you want to make this card, you can find a substitute image that you could use with this layout, but it's just fun to get this as an extra bonus in your starter kit. So that card uses the plant right here, and I'm going to use the flower in mine. And then we have a sketch for you to go along with that, just in case you are not used to doing those measurements. We've got them all measured out for you. Okay, and let's see, and here's my card. Voila! And I used that beautiful flower from Handmade Designs to make it. Oh, and I had to stamp on the back. Look at that. I haven't put my name in there yet, but I will put my name in with a Stampin' Right marker. But it's handmade by, it's such a cute, it's that stamp right there up in the top corner. So that was kind of fun. And then I also did the inside of the card, and I will show you, we have some new dies, so we will talk about that, and some new designer series paper. So one other thing, if you decide not to get the starter kit and you are placing an order today, let's just bring up my host code. Here is my host code for the month of January. And if you order at least $50 with me during the month of January, you will be getting the Sunny Days Iridescence Dots. But I would challenge you, if you're going to already spend $50 to get my dots, spend $10 more and spend $60 instead. And then you can also get a celebration choice. And we have a catalog. Oh, grab it right here. It's a little celebration brochure. And these choices are also available on the Stampin' Up! Website, so you can see them. But there's a little brochure, and there's lots of cute things. We've got paper, we've got some free ribbon, there's a stamp set there. So there's a lot of different things. There's 2 different levels. There's the $60 level, and then there's a $120 level. But for every $60 you spend, you get to choose an item out of this brochure. So it's cool. And if you, just like the paper, say you're spending $120 and you just want 2 of a certain paper, there's a few papers in here, you can do that. You don't have to choose 2 different items. You can choose 2 of the same items. I will say though, the ribbon, and there's some embellishments in here, and those are made overseas. And so sometimes what happens is, like for instance, this ribbon right here, that might sell out before the end of celebration, and it probably won't come back in, because where it's made, the factory shut down around this time of year, so it's hard to get those embellishments back in stock. So if you have your eye on an embellishment, get those first versus stamp sets. Stamp sets are produced by Stampin' Up! In North America, in the US, so those will still be available for longer. Okay. Sorry, such a long preamble this morning. There's just a lot going on today. Everything just kind of hit today, and so I want you to know about it in case you don't. Okay, let me clear those away. And how about we switch over to my other camera? let's see. Oh, and I just noticed my other camera. We've got lots of light coming in. It was overcast, and then I started my live, and then the sunshine came in. How nice. But let me, I'm just gonna switch over to my other camera, and then I'm gonna check my blinds here. Let me just rotate them in this direction. There we go. That's better. That is much, much better. That's why I have blinds here and not something else. I was trying to decide what kind of window treatments when I moved into here. And it's nice to have the light and be able to move the light in the correct direction. So again, this is the Handmade Design stamp set. It is not in my supply list because you can only get it in option 1 of the starter kit. Let's talk, I already told you about the Stampin' Right markers I'm going to be using today. And we are also using this paper. I love a good plaid paper. This one is Timeless Plaid. And it's got a lot of kind of neutral designs. I love it. And so we'll use that today. And we are using Everyday Arches. Now, this is the bundle, and it comes with this stamp set and the arches. I just put the arches in my supply list because that's what I'm using today. But aren't these arches just fabulous? I love that. I want to make a box with these arches too. So that will be on my to-do list down the road. I'm going to take my heater down a notch. I so cold this morning. We walked this morning, and I don't know if any of you do Celsius, but it was minus 16 Celsius with the wind chill, which is very cold. I was a little cold this morning, so I still was a little cold later on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make this card, and I guess what we'll do to start off with is, let's go ahead and we're gonna do a little bit of stamping first and then die cutting. I'm gonna be using the Thank You So Very Much stamp and the Memento ink pad. So let's just give this a little ink. For the greeting, I would like to stamp it first and then die cut it just to make sure that I get it straight. And for this other one, I'm gonna die cut it first and then I'm gonna stamp. I know, it's strange. With the flower, you don't have to be straight. In fact, you don't want the flower to be 100% straight. So we're gonna be doing it in reverse order. Okay, so let's grab our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. I'm using the big machine here today. The reason is the biggest die that I used for the inside doesn't quite fit in my mini machine. So let's go ahead and just pop this out here. And let me grab my plates. We will be using the big platform number 1, thin die adapter number 2, a clear plate, and I'll just reserve the second clear plate over here. I've got a lot on my surface this morning. Let's start off with doing this little guy here. Thank you so very much. We're going to be using the second smallest arch for this, and we'll just kind of line this one up, make sure. I want it, the greeting, all the way over to the right side. So that looks pretty good. Shove this way. Very carefully place this on here without shifting it. And then let's run this through. I could also take this down, but I think I am going to be fine. And I was. There we go. Set that aside. And then we will come in. Scoot this over here. Come in with this one, and we're going to use the 5th from the smallest, so let's go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll just put that on there and run this through. I'm going to put it in on a bit of an angle. It helps when you don't have like a big straight line going through the roller all at once. It makes, when you do that, it makes usually a big noise. So, okay, here's my extra piece here. And I already cut myself a big label, and just so you know, this is for the inside. I used the second largest one for this one. Okay, I think I can put this aside for now. All right. Okay. Let me bring this in and this in. Yeah, let's do this first. Okay. I am known for mutilating my stamps, and I'm unapologetic about it. I should be apologetic, but I'm not, because sometimes it makes life easier. They designed this to be inked up with markers, and then you kind of use hot, moist breath. You kind of huff on it, you go, and it reactivates the ink. So basically what you do is you use your markers to color on here and color on here, and then you breathe on it and then stamp it. I don't love doing that. You can do it. It is actually not a bad thing to do. It's just I would rather ink my stamp and then color afterwards. So what I did is I took my stamp and I cut it apart. There is just enough room if you bend the stamp back to get in between the flower and the stem. Sneaky how that is. And then I now have two stamps, and I can stamp these separately. I can stamp this in a green color, and I can stamp this in a dark color, and then I can color in, because that's what I want to do. And if you like to color directly on your stamps, you can do that too. It's whatever makes you happy. So maybe we should do one of both. Let's do one my way, and then let's do one that's marker too, just for the fun of it. Since this is not a hard card we're doing today. We're gonna use the subtles and the regals today, okay? Because I only get two, right? Because if I got the starter kit, I would only get two in my starter kit, unless I ordered the other ones as part of my product. Okay. So I want to start with the flower head first, if we're doing my method of cutting apart the stamp. So we're going to ink this up in Memento ink. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, and then we're going to position this kind of where we want it. I kind of had this so it originally so it would work out nicely on this flower so that the stem could nest in there. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put this right here. Voila. Oop, I hit my microphone. So then this one truly doesn't matter. You can kind of twist it and see where you want it. So let's go ahead and grab Old Olive here. Old Olive. Let's go. I had to laugh when I saw that Stampin' Up! Designed the stamp set to be used with the markers, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what you did. I'm gonna re-ink this because I got a little ink on my stamp. Let's just do that one more time. I pushed in too hard. Okay, and I laughed because I don't love to do that, so let's just kind of go in and stamp this right here. See how pretty that is? Now, one thing I did notice when I did this was my stem is kind of short, and I didn't like that. So while I was doing that, I decided, let's grab my Stampin' Right marker. Oh, and one thing that I will do right here with my Stampin' Right markers, I really don't like pulling out this little tiny tab piece right here. It annoys me. It's hard to get out, so it does lock your lid in place. I'm just going to cut it off. just like this. There. Now I can open this much more easily. I don't know, like it does help lock it in place, but honestly, it drives me crazy. Okay, so let's grab our old olive marker. And we're just gonna come in with the bullet tip. We just recently changed this tip a couple years ago, and I like this tip a lot better. So we're just gonna kind of swoosh up like that and make our stem longer. Yep, look at that. I just did that. Yep, I know. Sometimes I have to extend lines. I've done that before, and it just kind of makes me happy. Okay, let's see. Oh, and this one, you'll see, I just bent this one back like this. It was kind of fun to just kind of bend the whole lid in there. Okay, and one other thing. I do want to show you something. I debated whether or not to show this. I was playing around with like creating kind of like a marker case, and I came up with like this holder that would hold two. And I don't know if anyone's interested in this, but you know, this kind of, if you bend back this tab as well and tuck it in, like this will hold like two of the marker cases really nicely, and it kind of holds them together and it gives them a little added protection. You could also cover this with some designer series paper and make it really pretty. I don't know. I was like, it sounded cool to me like in December when I designed it, and then I was like, is that something people even want? I don't know. So you need to let me know if that's something that you're interested in, something because when you bend these back, then you can access all of them. Okay, so I'm gonna take two colors, these two. This one is, let's see what color you are, Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath. We are going to take two of the colors and we are going to color this. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to follow on the inside of all of the black lines. And you know, I haven't colored with Stampin' Right markers in a long time. I'm keeping this kind of on an angle because I don't want to wear down my tip point. And we've been using those Stampin' Blends for such a long time. And you know, I loved Stampin' Blends. I will not give them up. But I had kind of forgotten about these markers. And to my great surprise, I actually kind of like coloring with them, especially like with small areas. They are super good, super fast. And if I was coloring this with Stampin' Blends, I would be bleeding through this side. So these, I mean, I'm sure if I spent more time in one area, I could create a bleed through as well. But these do not bleed through as easily. I'm using just regular basic white, not the thick. So, you know, it would be possible to have this bleed through, but it doesn't as easily as Stampin' Blends. So if you do not like coloring, you probably would not like starter kit option number 1, but then you can get starter kit option number 2. But I think this is kind of fun, and it is fun to have colors that you can also scribble on a block and pick it up with a water painter that we have, and you can do watercoloring with this too. These inks are water-based. So there's lots of fun things that you can do with Stampin' Right. Now, if you want to, we could just leave this right here, but I kept coloring. And when I did the inside ones, I left a little bit more white space, which I kind of like. So I'm just going to kind of come along the edge of the freesia. And I'm not going to go all the way in like I did for my flower. I think I'm going to leave a bit more white space. You know, after a while, I'm going right over the fresh freesia, so I am hitting the edge of the fresh freesia, just so you know. It just is giving it more of a like a little bit of a two-tone look. And I think I like just leaving a little bit more white space than I did. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. I like having a little bit of white in there. And then coming back over here, this one is soft seafoam. And then I'm just gonna hit the center of this with the soft seafoam, just to give it a little bit of a different color. Okay, so that's what this would be if I did it on regular, without doing the marker huffy thing. So let's just see, you know what, I need a piece of regular basic white. Let me grab one. Let's see. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do one, if I were gonna do kind of like the huffing thing. All right, we need to patch this guy back. First of all, let's clean it. And we'll clean my stem off the side on my very messy chamois, but you know what? The chamois really does a good job. It's could be a little wetter. I just, I haven't wet it today. It's still wet from yesterday. So I'm gonna patch this back now together. And this is the side where I'm going to patch it back. Sorry, I got off camera a little bit. And I'm going to, which way does it go? I need to turn this a bit more. Let's patch this back up. This needs to go over a bit more. Come on. We'll patch this back in. All right. Okay, so now it's one stamp again, right? All right, we're gonna do fresh freesia and see how that goes. I haven't experimented with this, so I'm gonna come in and now I'm markering all of the little lines on here. So now I could use two colors, but I'm just going to use one on here. When you're doing the markering technique, you want to just use the lighter color first on your stamps. Okay, and I think I got all of it. Well, we'll see in a second. I haven't done the center yet, so let's hit that with a little bit of this green. And then the leaves I'm going to do in Old Olive. So we'll come in and color this. This is going to be a different look, I'm sure. This flower here that I did is a lot brighter. So this is how Stampin' Up! Intended us to use this stamp. That's why they designed it this way. And yeah, I had to change it. I'm not a huge fan of this particular technique, but let's see how it goes. It is one way, especially when you're starting out. This is such a great way to get into Stampin' Up! Because the starter kit will give you 2 of these marker sets that you can use in 2 different ways. Okay, now I'm going to huff on the stamp with hot, moist breath off camera. All right, let's stamp this. And we're going to stamp it down and straight. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Moment of truth. Oh my gosh, it's too light. Do you see that? I feel like that's like way, way, way too light. Okay, so what I think I would have done differently is I don't know, I got a little bit too markery with the Old Olive. And this top one, I think I wouldn't use a subtle, because the subtle is too light. It's hard to see on the stamp, so let's do this once more. I haven't given up on this technique yet. It's not my favorite technique, but let's turn this over and let's try this again. Let's see, there's another subtle in here. This one is Highland Heather. Let's see how dark Highland Heather is. Oh yeah, I think Highland Heather is a little darker. Let's use Highland Heather and see if, let's see, that green didn't show up at all. Sometimes with these little line drawn images, yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if we can make this better. I think using probably a Regal would have probably been, and I'm going to purple out the center here too, because I feel like we need a darker color in the center. With this darker color, I can also see more if I'm hitting all of those little lines, right? Because with a very light color, it's super hard to see, did I actually ink everything up, right? So I'm just gonna come in, ink, 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 ink. Hopefully I'm getting these better this time. Okay. Now let's do this. This time I'm gonna kind of flick out like this. And I'm not gonna go back over it. Just gonna go this way. Now flick out like this. We'll go like this. We'll go from the tips to the stem. And if I see any pooling, I'm going to go over it so that it doesn't show on my stamp. Okay, let's try this once more. All right, let's try it once more and see if I can get a better result this time. Okay, it's still a little weak, but it's a little better than this one. So I don't know. Have not been a huge fan of the whole huffing thing. I think this flower might be a little too light to get the great result that you want. I think also if you use a Regal, like maybe Gorgeous Grape, it would have an even better result because it would be even darker. So I stand by my original design and how I wanted to do this one. I think it's very easy to cut these apart, and then you get like a much better like stamped image than you would if you were just doing this. This is just a little too subtle for me. Oh, the other thing I want to show you. So here's another card I made yesterday. And when you cut the flower head apart, you can use it as a standalone flower and stamp it all over the place without the stem on it. So that's also kind of like a fun way to use the card or to use that stamp set. So just as an aside. Okay, let's keep going. We've got our, move these aside a bit. We've got too much in the area here. Okay, so a card base is the Smoky Slate, and I've cut it to 8.5 by 5.5 and scored in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. Let's grab our bone folder and smooth it down to lay it flat. I cut a piece of Designer Series paper. This one was 5.5 by 2. I think I'm just going to lay this down and see if I like this. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. What do you think? I think I'm going to make it this one like this. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do the back side of this and see what we think. I know we're introducing a new color into this card, but it's okay. It's okay, we can have just a tiny bit of blue, right? Let's bring this down just a bit more. Okay, that's good enough. And then we'll take this piece. This is a piece of fresh freesia. It is 5.5 by 1/2 inch. What do you guys think? Should I bring in that blue in the background? I think, is that Lost Lagoon? Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna bring it in. Let's see what that will look like. That is not Lost Lagoon. That is Lost Lagoon, I think. I'm just curious. I'm experimenting. Let's see. Does this look? This is more of a muted look. Ooh, I kind of like that. Yeah, I might do that. I just to be just a teeny tiny bit, a little bit different. I don't know. Like, I could come back in with this. This brightens it up a bit. But no, I'm gonna do the blue. I'm gonna do the blue. So this is Lost Lagoon cardstock, 5.5 by 1/2 inch. Yep. And you know, sometimes you have to change things around as you go along, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of position things how I want them. I wanna adhere the greeting down first because it has to tuck behind my flower, right? So let's just go here. I just love it when, like, I make a card the second time and I'm changing it and I like the second card better. It's so funny. Why couldn't I have thought of that the first time? But you know, they're both cute cards, right? But we just experiment. Okay, so now that one is in place, and I think just trying to see if it's straight. Okay. All right, now we're gonna add this one, and we're gonna add the one where I actually liked the flower of. See, I think they would have done better with the flower for me if you were going to do the huffing. I'm still thinking about this. If the flower had been bold too, and instead of doing a line drawn and a bold on the same stamp, I think it would have made me happier. But that's just me. I kind of like things to be easy going both ways. Like, I think it would have had a better look. Like, once you stamped it, I think it would have had a better look. But I do like this. I think this is really bright and fun. Just stamping them separately, and it does look super cute. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to the basics. Some oldies but goodies. Let's bring out these rhinestone jewels and just add some onto here. Let's grab, okay, I have not used my Take Your Pick tool. New Year's resolution. I'm going to try and use it more because it actually is easier than using the piercer. There. Done. I did it. How easy was that? All right. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you like? Oh, we haven't done the inside yet. We need to do the inside, but just let's look at the outside real quick. And you can tell me, do you like that blue paper, or do you like the bolder of the checks? Do you like the flower that's filled in, or do you like the flower that has some white space? You know, they're both a sort of a different look, right? But anyway, let's do the inside. Not very hard to do the inside, but you do need a scrap piece of paper. And I'm going to remove this again, because the nice thing about having this flower head all by itself is you don't have to worry about the stem hanging on. And we're just going to come in, ink this up, and stamp it in the corner here. And we're also ink this up here. And we'll just turn this a bit and just put this up here like that. And so now we have these little flowers that are just peeking out, just saying hello. And then we'll come in with the colors again. And we'll just very quickly just kind of add a little bit of color to the edges of these flowers. And I'm not trying to be perfection here. I'm just trying to get some color on here. These flowers are very whimsical. So, you know, they do have a bit of, they're not meant to be taken seriously is what I'm trying to say. You know, they can just be very easily colored without worry that, you know, maybe you're going outside the lines. The thing is, you don't want to be too precise, I think, on this, because this is not a precise stamp set. I still remember I had like this sheet set, the first sheet set I had that had offset flowers from the outlines, and it took me a while to get used to that. That was many years ago. And you know, now that's like a whole look, you know, to have like things that are offset that aren't perfect, you know, that don't look 100%, because it's kind of more artistic not to do that. But of course, if you like that, that's fine. If you want to be perfect and make it things look, you know, that is a look too. But I think this one kind of screams for just like, don't take me too seriously, just be whimsical and fun, and you know, it's a new year, have fun. Okay, and then we'll come in with a little bit of the soft sea foam in the center, just to add one more color, and that's it. And then we add this into here. And see, it didn't bleed through. So if you're doing a design where you're seeing the front and the back, like a flip card or something like that, you know, that will totally work. And I just wanted to bring this arch back from the outside and put it on the inside, because I thought it kind of nice to have like that arch look coming back in on the inside. Oh, and one last thing. Let's grab this one, the Handmade by, and we're going to ink that up. I like to do tone on tone on the back because I want people to definitely know what is the front of the card, right? So I don't want to overshadow the front, so it's just like tone on tone. So usually if my card base isn't too dark, if I'm going to stamp on the back, I do tone on tone. If it's a dark card base, then sometimes you're forced to use black just to make it show up. And if you have a black card base, well, then I can't help you. Then you're going to have to cut a little extra piece of cardstock maybe, or emboss. But then you'd also, if you want to write your name, you'd also have to find a way to write your name on with a, like maybe with a white marker or something like that. But there you go. Oh, and then, okay, I know this is kind of cheating because I only said I was going to use 2 of the markers. But let's go in and grab some of these neutrals here. Let's see. This one is the Smoky Slate. So let's see how Smoky Slate looks on Smoky Slate. Handmade by Brenda. And that's probably going to dry up just a little bit, and it's going to be a little subtler than, but yeah, that's exactly where you're supposed to write your date. All right. And you could write it in black as well. It doesn't have to be the same color, but I remember when I first started stamping, my mom used to always look at the back of the card to see if I put something on the back, because she thought that was kind of cool. And then after a while I stopped doing that, and she's like, why aren't you doing the backs anymore? But it's nice to have like that little back piece where you write your name on it. So they're the cards. I hope you like them. And if you're thinking of getting the starter kit, like it's a great time. That those markers and the stamp set add-on, option number 1, is super cool. But if you don't want the markers, you've got that $30 extra too. So it's a very, very easy choice. And you know what? I got the starter kit 19 years ago. 19 years ago, a couple days ago, it would have been my exact 19-year anniversary of being with Stampin' Up. That's crazy. Next year is 20 years. That's hard to believe. And I was a customer for a few years. I was like a slow sell on the starter kit. And now that I've been a Stampin' Up demonstrator for 19 years, it's like, why didn't I jump in sooner? And I've had customers that have been customers for several years, and I'll tell them about the starter kit with every special. And sometimes, like a few years in, they decide to get the starter kit, just like me. I was a slow adopter, but it was definitely worth it once I got the starter kit, because I really wanted to be hooked into Stampin' Up, and I was a hobbyist for one day. I was going to be a hobbyist. That's why I signed up, just to get the discount for one day. And then I decided I wanted to invite other people into it. I just had too much enthusiasm to keep it just all to myself. So I just couldn't stop myself. But you don't have to. You can make things for other people and make their lives happier, and you do not have to sell. You absolutely don't have to. Okay, well, if you've made it this far, I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already a subscriber, and leave me a comment, or give me a thumbs up. Anything you do to interact with my video helps me out, helps me get seen by other people, and this is my small business, so I really, really appreciate that. Okay, it is the end of the video, so I get to see all the comments. I don't like to do it ahead of time because I get distracted and off topic. So let's talk to all of you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them right now. I'm gonna twist my computer just a little bit, because I've been sitting on an angle again, and I've been bothering my shoulder again. I can't believe I've done this again. I was working a lot on my computer this weekend, and yes, I have done it to myself again. I can't believe it. So I'm trying not to exacerbate it. Okay, good morning, Valerie and Marge and Nancy and Deborah and Verblue and Marty. Oh, and Marty asked, so who got snow and how much? And Ellie says, Connecticut's in a deep freeze. Oh my goodness. Mary says she got 10 inches of snow in Ohio. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Frankie. Linda said only rain in Oregon and beautiful sunrise this morning, but very windy. Yeah, it was windy here too. So that wind chill like just ripped into us this morning on our walk. Marty said Brenda's team is very welcoming and lots of fun. Thank you, Marty. Marty's so sweet. And Mary says we love our team. Thank you, Mary. And Kristen's on my team too. Hello, Kristen. She's in Colorado. Mary says, hi from cold Indiana. She bought the heart, but has not made any yet. Oh, that's cool. Well, I hope you enjoy making those heart-shaped boxes. Kristen said, what a great sketch. The oval on the original one reminds me of an egg, which would be perfect for Easter. Yeah, and I had to go on an oval hunt yesterday because I wasn't sure where that came from. Actually, I think I have the catalog because we don't have ovals right now. And so this oval that was on the original card, let me see if I can find it real quick. If it takes me too long, I'll have to, here we go. It is in the linked together stamp set. That's the oval that they used on the card. And I just was curious because I had to call demo support and find out where it came from. But then eventually we found it together. And but the arches are super cool. Don't you love the arches? I think they're really neat. I'm going to make an arch box. I can't wait. Okay, Marty says she loves the colors I chose. Wish we had some sunshine. I know. Well, hopefully you'll get some. I don't know why we had that brief interlude of sunshine and now it's back overcast again, but the sun comes and it goes, right? Mary says she bought the markers and took them out of the package. What was I thinking? Takes me a while to find the color I want, live and learn. Oh yeah, so yeah, the packaging is kind of nice to have, but if you just fold back the tabs, it makes it so much easier. Hello, Joan. I'm glad you joined us. Marty says, did you know that you can refill the Stampin' Write markers? They use the same ink as the ink pads. You can pull out the brush nib and put a few drops of an ink pad refill into the barrel. Very cool. I have never done that, but I've heard that you can do it. So Linda Dalke has, maybe she has, she's an Australian demo. Maybe she has a video that you can watch. I will see if I can find that. Kristen says she's performed stamp surgery on sentiments before, but not on an image. Interesting. This one just absolutely spoke to me. I had to cut it apart, and I'm so glad I did. Marty says that's a neat idea. Oh yeah, with the box. We were talking about the boxes to contain the markers. Yes, you could take two and glue them together. I also did the measurements for just a single box, and I don't know, and then I just kind of lost steam. I wasn't sure if that was something that people would want, and so, you know, I kind of just lost steam on the idea. It was like a great, brilliant idea in December, and then I just like it petered out a bit. So I'm not sure, but if there's enough people that want it, I'm sure I'll do a video on it. Mary says, can you use the other kind of stamps with the markers? You can use like whatever stamps you want. I think the stamps work better with a bold image, like the markers work better with an all bold image rather than like the line drawn bold combo. I don't think that's like the best combo for those, but there's probably going to be someone out there that teaches you how to do it and does a better job than me. So there you go. Marty says she did marker to stamp when she taught stamping at the kids' middle school. One of the kids used a large detail stamp. It was amazing. And I think you're right, Marty. I think if it was all detail, it would look a certain way. But having the contrast between the bold areas and the line drawn, because the line drawn will always look weaker unless you choose a really light color for the leaves and then a darker, I don't know. It's a hard balance to balance out. I think it's not necessarily the easiest stamp to marker up. Kristen said the leaves came out good. Yeah. And yeah, I probably needed to use a darker purple. Yeah. And then Kristen said, I wonder if you color the leaves first, then color the flower last, if it would work a bit better. That could be true. That might help too. It's like a thing that I would have to like work on a little bit more. Marty liked the flip side of the designer series paper. Yes, so I'm glad we tried the blue. and the Kristen says the second flower pops a little bit more. And the reason that flower pops a bit more is because it's got more white in it. White draws the eye in. And so that white will just make your eye come in a bit more. So, you know, as I create, I hope I get better over time. March said, before I started with you, Brenda, all I ever used was Stampin' Writes. I became a pro, but now using Stampin' Blends, I still have problems with those, but prefer Stampin' Writes. See, everyone has their preference, right? You know, I think blends take a while to get used to too. I really love blends, but I'm happy that I'm experimenting again with Stampin' Write. It's something fresh and new again. Marty says it's fun to try different colors. Both combinations are beautiful. And Linda says she likes the second card best. And Nancy likes the white space. Marge says flower with white. Both backrooms work nice. I think the way you did each flower works with the background paper it's on. They look like marigolds or carnations. Yeah, I've heard someone said that they look like marigolds, but you're right. They also look like carnations too, because they're both kind of crinkly flowers. Marty says she used to use Murphy markers. I remember those. I didn't have any. And then Tombow markers. I love having the ink match the stamp pad colors. Yeah, you know, remember on this one, I extended the stem and like it worked perfectly because it matched with the ink pad. So that's kind of fun, right? Yeah, and you can write on the card with the matching color. Marty says, wow, 19 years. Yeah, 19 years. That's a long, long time. Long time. Linda says she doesn't have any friends that like to craft, but they love getting her cards and 3D projects. Well, you know, and that's the reality of things sometimes. Sometimes you're with a group that everyone wants to stamp around you and create things, and sometimes it's not. But they love getting your hand stamped things. For my knitting group, right before Christmas, I brought in some of the 3D things that I made, refilled them with the fresh chocolate, and it was so fun to give those out. You know, I really enjoyed doing that. I hadn't done that in a very, very long time, so that is fun. And I don't know if any of those knitters will ever stamp anything, but because they're doing something else that's creative. But it's fun to be able to give something. Like if I had to knit something for everyone to give as a gift, I would have been like knitting for years. I could have made them a little 1x1 crocheted square. That's how fast I crochet. But, you know, giving someone a little 3D item or a card, that's really nice. I've already made some birthday cards for people in the group, and having a nice little 3D thing, a little box to put a gift in, that's always good, right? Will you be sharing the last team swaps? Yes, I will, Louise. I intended to do this last week and I just ran out of time. I want to still share my handmade Christmas cards and I want to share the team swaps, but I want to do it on a separate video because I have so many to share and I don't want to bog down this video. So I'll do a separate video on it and hopefully it will be this week. And I apologize. I didn't do it earlier too, Louise, because I was still waiting on one card, and it's not that she didn't send it out at the same time. It's just it must have gone around the world and back to me, and it didn't get here until I don't think it got to me until I got back. Like it was in my big mail dump when I got back from vacation, and I had this big stack. So I still have a big stack to go through. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. That is the craziness of everything that we do here. Okay, let's see. Yes, so Kristen says she likes both cards. The bloom with the white space looks good against the plaid, and there's some white space in that design too. March said big thumbs up, thank you. Oh, Marty said Linda did a live about the markers last Tuesday. Oh, well, that's really good. I will have to watch that. Linda is a friend of mine. I met her, Linda Dalkey from Australia. So if any of you want to look up, Dalkey is spelled Dalke. And I met her on my very first incentive trip. It was the Mediterranean cruise. And she was there with her new husband, and we were on the bus together. We were doing a tour together, and so we had a conversation. I love her accent. I love Australian accents. They're so fun. Okay, Sandy says she's late, but I'm glad you're here anyway, Sandy. Sandy's also on my team. I'm glad you're here. Mary said she would like the box for the markers. Okay, well, that's encouraging. I will see if I can produce something to get the marker box together. I think I want to do the single one and the double one. We'll see. We'd probably do that as an add-on video at some point this month. Marty said the markers also work better with red rubber stamps. Cling stamps. They work with clear stamps, just not as well. Stamp the stamp a few times to condition it. That's a good tip. I agree with Marty. Kristen says she agrees with Marty. That was my thinking too about the stamps. Sue said, she says, I'm not a maker and like the red rubber stamps so much better. Clear stamps are great for two-step stamping though. Yeah, I mean, the red rubber stamps are still my favorite to stamp with too, because the rubber really does grab the ink a little bit better. But for positioning things, it's easier to see, especially for greetings with the clear stamps. So I see why we're seeing more and more of the clear, but the red rubber will always have a piece of my heart, piece of my rubber heart. Let's see. Louise says, looking forward to seeing all the cards you received. I will definitely be doing a video on that. Hello, Cynthia. It's good to see you here this morning. Marty said there are so many nice people in Stampin' Up. Paper crafters are great. Yeah, they really are. And it's fun to watch some other people's videos too. Linda said she would like the box too. I would use the alphabet dies to name them. Ah, very cool. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I will think about doing those boxes, but probably not this week. Probably the following week, and see if I can come up with some sort of design. Kind of want to like do the box and then like wrap it with some designer series paper to kind of make it look prettier. I think that would be fun. All right. Well, thank you all for being here this morning. I will be going live again on Friday at 10 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. And I hope some of you will join me. If you aren't already on my email list, you can join down below. And if you're on my email list, I also send out an email right before I go live so that you know when I'm going live. So if you want to get notifications for that and get my Friday project sheets, make sure you're on my email list. Okay, everyone, I hope you all have a fabulous week, and I hope to see some of you on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.